Hello everyone, welcome back. This is session 3 of day 5 on our online faculty development program, sponsored by AICT IST and organized by the LNM Institute of Information Technology, Jaipur. Today we have with us Mr. Jaspreet. He will let us know how to stay apace with the latest in blockchain. I would like Mr. Jaspreet to take over from here. Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this session on that's titled How to Stay Apace with the Latest in Blockchain. A bit about me first. My name is Jaspreet. I studied Masters in Computer Science at IIT Bombay with a focus on theoretical computer science, after which I worked for some years at Yahoo Japan, implementing search, enterprise search, and e-commerce search. So that was information retrieval and some machine learning. Right now, I'm doing some freelance work, so this opportunity came for me to present about how to stay abuzz with the latest in a very practical field such as blockchain. So I thought I should take up this opportunity. Let me thank the organizers, Dr. Shweta Bhandari and Dr. Jayaprakash Kar of LNMIT for organizing this and inviting me to speak here. Also, thanks to the technical liaison, Mr. Mukesh Sharma, who's been very supportive and helpful of us. Thank you so much. With that, let's start. The title of the talk is How to Stay Apace with the Latest in Blockchain. So it's quite a pep title, and it's not a technical talk. In fact, it's not even much about blockchain, to be honest. I was told to give a general and motivating sort of pep talk, so it's going to be in that flavor. In particular, it's about some tips and tools to keep oneself updated and aware of the latest developments in a very practical and rapidly evolving multidisciplinary field like blockchain. It's going to be a short talk. I believe that what can be said in 10 to 15 minutes should be stretched to a maximum of half an hour, not 1.5 hours. So keep that in mind, please. So with this, I begin how to stay apace with the latest in blockchain. Attend FDP on blockchain. So yeah, thank you for coming to the talk. Attending FDP over the past 4 years and today as well. You've seen many sessions from various experts all over the country, from academia as well as from industry, talking about both the theoretical aspects of blockchain, as well as I am told that you've also had some practical exposure in Solidity and Hyperledger. So that's a nice orientation to blockchain, which to many still remains a mysterious but highly buzzed up word: blockchain, cryptocurrencies, and so on. So attending FDP and in general, attending web conferences, industry seminars and webinars, meetups. Right now, physical meetups are not happening, so most of them are taking place online, which is, I would say, a even greater convenience. So my advice in general to young researchers, as well as faculty members who are teaching such courses, would be to actively participate in these conferences and seminars so as to keep apace with the industry developments. Blockchain is very much an industry-oriented, practical application-oriented field. The theory is still developing. It builds upon the theoretical aspects from cryptography as well as distributed systems, but it is still a very much practical and still evolving field. So the prime way of keeping oneself updated with the latest is to keep attending these conferences, seminars. Meetups are great when and if we are able to do them in physical form, that's even great. So many of these cities, Silicon Valleys, so to say, have these regular meetups where people from various companies and from academia as well as meet up in the evenings over snacks and drinks and discuss latest technological trends, what they've been up to, exchange knowledge. So I believe that's a great way to, not only just keep oneself updated, but also to connect with various people who are working in the particular field that we are interested in. Also, we must always keep checking the content on YouTube. Many of these conferences are uploaded on YouTube, and also helps to tune into some podcast every now and then. There are multitude of podcasts, be they on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. There's so many podcasts on blockchain, cryptocurrency. So that's a great way to pass some time in the evening while updating yourself of what's going on in the industry. Uh, Next tip and tool is to hear the latest buzz on Twitter. Twitter is a very fast means of communication, and many experts, many engineers from industry, many finance professionals, many industry leaders, as well as youngsters are on Twitter, and they share their knowledge, they share what they're up to, what they are interested in on Twitter. So it's always nice to catch up on the latest buzz. So search for blockchain or crypto related trends. Follow some influencer accounts if you can find some. And that's a very quick way of getting a feel, a superficial buzz of what's going on, what's the latest in the field. A couple of caveat here, do not trust everything you see on Twitter. There's a lot of promotion going on, with every new coin, so many ICOs happening, any new XYZ coin. So a lot of promotion is there, and everybody wants to talk about it and wants other to get on board. Why? Because success of these currencies or any trust system depends on network effects. So they want to create buzz as well about their latest offering. So just be a little mindful of that when you look for content on Twitter. So try to get a feel of what's going on instead of using it as your research tool. It's not a research tool, it's a getting a buzz tool. Also, another caveat is don't get sucked into other content on Twitter, because it can be a very, it's an outrage machine. So there's a lot of political outrage and social outrage happening on Twitter. So be very mindful of your attention when you spend time on Twitter or any social media platform. Be very careful that you are here to only search about blockchain and crypto related or whatever field you're interested in. So guard your attention. Attention is the most valuable currency for this generation. Next point. This is my favorite so far. Use some news aggregator apps. For example, Flipboard. I don't know if many of you use Flipboard, but it's personally my favorite. You can follow n number of topics of your choice, and it aggregates news or latest developments on that particular topic from all over the web and gives to you ready-made in your app or on your web system. Yeah, so even if you spend 10 to 15 minutes a week on it, you're all set. You are abuzz with the latest news, latest developments, be they financially oriented in cryptocurrency sphere or some technical protocols coming up, legislation coming up. So again, because blockchain is a very market oriented, very application oriented one, which is not it's not a very theoretical field, it's a very practical field, and it's still evolving. People are still learning, people are still imagining applications for it. So therefore these tools would be valuable in my humble opinion. Yeah, so news aggregator apps like Flipboard, that's my personal favorite. You can, of course, look up for other similar apps and use any. Next point is to, follow the big names, be they IBM or Facebook with its Libra and all that, Microsoft, Oracle even. Keep checking out what kind of product or projects they are announcing in the field of blockchain, if that's what you're interested in, or in any particular field that maybe your area of specialization. keep keep a buzz on what these big names are up to, because they are usually not just market leaders but technology leaders. So it helps if you keep a tab on what they're up to. Keep checking their tech blogs or product announcements. Many of their projects are now open source, so keep a tab on what kind of open source projects that their engineers are involved in. You can also get a feel of what the latest is or what the next thing is by what kind of hiring patterns and what kind of job descriptions that they're issuing out in the market. So that's also a nifty way to keep yourself, on the tab of what is going to be. Also, again, Twitter accounts of their employees, in particular engineers and product managers and so. So that can also be a very quick way of getting a feel of what people in the industry are up to. Okay, it's going to be a very short session. My last slide is about some thoughts on teaching blockchain, teaching of blockchain. In the sessions so far, and even in today's sessions itself, you would have heard the word confluence. So blockchain as an area is a confluence of various fields, in particular cryptography, distributed systems, and so on. But more generally, it's a confluence of theory and practice. And there are abundant market-oriented applications which are yet to be realized or even imagined, even. Yeah, so how should pedagogy on blockchain should be? So for example, if an elective course is to be offered for undergraduate students, then what should be the flavor or style of such a course? I'm not saying it's prescriptive, it's just suggestive from a fresh perspective who has been both in freshly, someone as I've been freshly in academia as well as in industry. So probably if a course on blockchain must be offered, it may be offered in an active learning mode instead of traditional lecture lab mode. In that, let students go out, look for content, ideas, projects, and bring them to class for discussion with peers. Yeah, I mean, after basic foundations of cryptography and distributed systems have been established, more of learning can be student initiated rather than professor initiated. Yeah, so in that, as faculty, we should be encouraging students to implement stuff, checking out various blockchain offerings, checking out various blockchain open source projects, and make it application intensive. Let students come up with ideas for applications, and as projects, you could ask them to implement proofs of concept on a very small mini scale, maybe on campus in class groups. Applications are abundant. You have heard today itself in the preceding session, I believe, on how blockchain will be helpful in 5G implementation and 5G oriented applications. So there are so many applications which are waiting to be realized for the blockchain. We all keep hearing blockchain, the potential is immense, it's going to transform everything, but the applications are yet to be imagined and realized. So it would be nice to have students involved in such kind of thinking and implementation even. And also, as faculty, it may not be possible for you to learn everything about blockchain because there are aspects from economics, finance, game theory, as the professor in the morning was talking about. There's so much about legislation. So in an active learning mode, probably students can be encouraged to learn about all these things, learn about the economics, finance, legislation of blockchain, cryptocurrency, and even security aspects, and how they will shape the future of blockchain going forward. Yeah, so these are some tips and tools that I have. Of course, there is a lot of foundational theoretical research, theoretical underpinnings which go into cryptography as well as distributed systems, which form the infrastructure and backbone of all that blockchain is. Yeah, but on the application side, it's still a very practical field. So I believe if a course has to be offered on blockchain, it has to have both that mix of theoretical as well as practical mix. And some tools I've shared to keep oneself abuzz. I mean, it always helps if one is going to teach a course on blockchain to at least know what is the latest coin offerings in the market, what is the latest contract protocol, and so on. Yeah, so these are some tools which I had, which I saw people use very regularly in industry. So I hope they'll be of use to you. And yeah, that's it from my side actually. As I said, it's going to be a very short session, so I've stuck to the promise. Yeah. Any thoughts or ideas from participants are welcome. Dr. Shweta?
Yeah. So one question, like how to apace with the technology in general. Some thoughts on that?
So in general, as someone who's, it depends on what kind of stuff you're in. If you're a faculty member or a researcher, then you all know about the trick of abstract skimming. You know, whatever conferences are happening in your field, you don't go about attending all the conferences and all the sessions in them. But the least you can do is at least look through the lineup of speakers and at least skim the abstracts, which is a fairly good way of keeping oneself updated of the latest research. Yeah, so that's from the research point of view. If one is in the practical aspects of it, then keep a tab on open source projects, what kind of stuff the latest researchers are doing. And so many researchers, so many industry professionals are doing free talks all over the web. There's so many talks on the YouTube. I think it's a golden age of content. But that said, it's also a very difficult age for attention. So you have to be very selective about what you are interested in. And don't get into the trap of overconsumption. So consume, but consume to a limit and then get into implementing or trying out various stuff. So if certain technology or certain framework attracts you, then having heard or seen enough of it, go ahead and get your hands dirty on it. Start implementing, fork some open source projects, involve your students if you're a faculty member in doing so, and so on. So yeah, that's a general advice. I think it also applies for areas like machine learning, because that's also a very practical field. Machine learning is now fairly evolved when it comes to theoretical underpinnings of it, but it's also a very practical field, and so many applications, so many problems are being solved in machine learning every other day. Just last week, I think a protein folding problem in biology was to a very high degree of accuracy was results were achieved in protein folding using machine learning. AlphaFold was the name of the process. So such buzz is created by machine learning researchers on Twitter, for example. So if one can create such lists of researchers that they want to follow, but at the same time be very mindful of your attention, that you do not let your attention be wasted into non-productive aspects of that social media platform. If you can do that in a disciplined manner, then it can be a very valuable tool to keep yourself updated.
Yes. True. Any other question from participants? I think there are no questions. So if
Can
you
I get an idea of how many participants are on the call?
actually, they can post questions in the question Q&A box or chat
Okay.
box.
Okay.
But there is no question.
There are no questions. Okay. So thank you so much, Jaspreet, for this wonderful talk. And this is very informative that actually people would like to have that how to stay apace with technology in general, because since it is rapidly changing, so it is really a helpful talk. Thank you so much once again.
Madam, one question is there.
Actually, there are few questions. Any simulator for blockchain?
I'm not aware of.
Yeah. So actually, Sumit, maybe you can ask this with the the people who have a hands-on session with us. So I think Abhishek from IBM Research Lab shown us some simulator kind of thing. So maybe we have the email address. We will post it there. There is one more question. What are the major areas to be focused in blockchain for research purpose?
Yeah, I believe you can answer that better than I can. Usually, the cryptographic foundations, the hashing algorithms, that's the underlying theory. Then on the application side, there's the contract protocols. Uh, then on the market application side, there's the currency and application kind of research. And then on the implementation side, there is the distributed systems research, Hyperledger, distributed ledger, and so on. But please feel free to add to that.
I think we have selected very important topics during our FDP. We have topics on hyperledger, fabrics, and security and privacy issues in blockchain, bitcoins, and cryptographic side of blockchain and all. So I think if you have a closer look to the topics that we have covered in the FDP, they are more like the latest research topics that we have covered. So you may again have a look at all the topics and the sessions that we have covered in the FDP. So I think they are really good areas to start with in the blockchain. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much, Jaspreet, and thank you very much all the participants. Now there are a couple of few important announcements that I would like to mention. Tomorrow we are having a validatory session in which IST director is coming. So I would like to request all of you to specially join the validatory session. In the morning we are having very nice motivational speaker, Dr. Prem Masan. He will going to give a talk on holistic wellness, which is really very important and most needed talk in current situation and times. So I would also like to request to attend that talk. After that, we will have a feedback and a small test, okay, a MCQ type quiz for you all. It is compulsory for everyone to give that quiz, right? So this is one thing. And today we are having a rescheduled talk by Dr. Pradeep Mishra at 7:30 p.m. So I request you all to join that as well. So the link will be shared in the WhatsApp group for joining the session 7:30 p.m. today. And all the links of tomorrow's session will also be shared by tonight. Thank you very much, everyone.